Once upon a time, in a faraway kingdom, there lived a kind-hearted girl named Cinderella. She lived with her wicked stepmother and two stepsisters, Anastasia and Drizella, who treated her unkindly and made her do all the household chores. Cinderella's only friends were the animals that lived in the house, particularly the mice and birds. They would often help her with her chores and keep her company. One day, the kingdom's prince announced that he would be hosting a grand ball at the palace, inviting all the eligible maidens in the land, in search of a bride. Cinderella's stepsisters were thrilled at the opportunity to attend, but Cinderella knew she would never be allowed to go. As the day of the ball approached, Cinderella's stepmother and stepsisters busied themselves with preparations, leaving Cinderella behind to do all the work. Despite her sadness, Cinderella dreamed of attending the ball and meeting the prince. On the night of the ball, Cinderella's stepsisters left without her, leaving her alone in the house. Overwhelmed with sadness, Cinderella began to cry. Suddenly, a beautiful fairy appeared before her. It was her fairy godmother. With a wave of her wand, the fairy godmother transformed Cinderella's rags into a beautiful gown and her worn-out shoes into glass slippers. She also turned a pumpkin into a magnificent carriage, mice into horses, and a rat into a coachman. Cinderella was overjoyed and grateful for the fairy godmother's kindness. However, she was warned that the magic would only last until midnight. With that, Cinderella set off for the ball, her heart filled with hope. As Cinderella arrived at the palace, she captivated everyone with her beauty and grace. The prince was immediately drawn to her and asked her to dance. They danced the night away, lost in each other's company. However, as the clock struck midnight, Cinderella remembered the fairy godmother's warning and knew she had to leave before the magic wore off. She fled from the palace, leaving behind one of her glass slippers. The prince searched the kingdom for the mysterious maiden who had stolen his heart, using the glass slipper as a clue. When he arrived at Cinderella's house, her stepsisters tried to force the slipper onto their feet, but it was too small for them. Finally, it was Cinderella's turn to try on the slipper. To everyone's amazement, it fit her perfectly. The prince recognized her as the one he had danced with at the ball and declared her to be his true love. Cinderella forgave her stepmother and stepsisters for their past cruelty and invited them to live with her at the palace. She and the prince were married, and they lived happily ever after. And so Cinderella's kindness and courage were rewarded, proving that true love and goodness prevail in the end.